Well, thank you. Good morning. Aaron said I only have about an hour. Is that right? Maybe 1 o'clock you guys get out or so?
That's a little shorter.
Okay. No, we just have a short time here together, but I really appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, my wife and I, Sherry, we raised 3 children. We spent most of our child rearing days down in Canal Winchester. We moved up here. We have family and farm responsibilities, so we moved up here in 14. We live down off of County Road 15 on the southern end of the county in Highland School District, and we have 6 grandchildren, and they keep us busy too. So it's great being here. I really appreciate Pastor Aaron and meeting him, and I've been meeting some really great people here today. So very good. So Livewise Academy, it seems like it's been around a long time because the organization's a very mature organization, but it's really only been alive for 3 years. So we can switch that there. So I guess personally, I'm just very excited to get involved in Morrow County and with other churches and Christians and the parents that we've been meeting. The Highland School District has been extremely welcoming to us. They're very excited about having us here. We've met with the superintendent. We've met with a couple of the principals and various people there. So if you live in this area and you don't live in Highland School District, Mount Gilead and Northmore are both starting programs this fall. So that's exciting. And Cardington has a petition going, and we would expect them to start by next fall. So so anything I talk about today dealing with Highland schools, you know, I'm equally excited about you supporting in any way you can the other programs here that are in Morrow County.
Amen.
So first question I want to ask you is why? So most of us probably don't have too much trouble of why we need the Bible in schools, right? So let's go 2 slides forward there. So the why, there we go. So, you know, this is not rocket science here in the sense that at the all-time high, we have things like anxiety, depression, suicide, and we could probably put several other things on there that are at all-time high with our children in our schools today. And at the same time, things that are at the all-time low, things like Bible literacy, church attendance, and professions of faith. So what I've understood is that 80% of the children in this nation do not regularly attend church, but 90% of them attend public schools. And you know, when Jesus left this planet, he gave a great commission, and he didn't say come, he said go. So we want folks to come to our churches, absolutely, but really the Great Commission is for us to go where they are. 90% of them are right there in the schools. And we have an opportunity, and in our society, it almost seems counter to what's happening. We can actually teach the children the Bible during school time, during school hours. And that just seems to really fly in the face for what we hear and where the society's going. But even as Pastor Aaron said to me the other day, things like this on the left side, those are not the problems. Those are the symptoms of the problem. There's a real problem, and that's what's on the right, because we don't have that. Okay, so next is the what. So what do we do about that? And next is release time, religious instruction. I'm not a big fan of the word religious, because it seems like kind of structure stuff, but we need more Jesus in our schools.
That's right.
So here, well, we lost a little bit on there. Didn't come through. So there's 3 things that are, this is from a Supreme Court ruling in 1952. So back then they were taking the Bible out of school, they were taking prayer out of school. But in 1952, the Supreme Court ruled that you can teach the Bible in public schools, but it has to have under three criteria. So it has to be off school property. You cannot be on a school. It has to be privately funded. And then it has to be parent permitted or approved. So, and this is during school hours. So let's move on. This started back in, a few things missing there. Okay. So Van Wert, Ohio, that's up in northwest Ohio. So the Van Wert was really kind of the flagship to start this program. It wasn't called Livewise back then, but yeah. So they up there they started this. They started this 6 years ago up in as a flagship program. And in the first year, they had 60% of the children in Van Wert schools attending Livewise. Today, they have 95% of the children in Van Wert attending Livewise. And since then, they originally had a home that was next to the elementary school that they bought and used it for the instructional place. They've now, it's so big, they've built their own facility for it. And right now, Livewise is in 133 school districts across the nation. The majority of those are in Ohio, but they're also in Kentucky, Pennsylvania, and Indiana. And right now there are efforts working across this nation. There are over 500 schools that are interested in working with Livewise. And the expectation for this fall is that there'll be over 250 schools that will have a Livewise program. Okay, let's move on there. So how do you do that? So we have the problem, that's the why. We have the what we're going to try to do. And so how do we do that? So this is really their pledge. They have 6 things that they built the program on. One is that it's gospel-centered. And so the curriculum goes all the way from Genesis to Revelation. And you have options to teach that, go through the entire Bible in anywhere from 1 year to 5 years. So so there would be a weekly lesson. So each child would be released to go to Livewise 1 period per week. So we're going to start the elementary school at Highland this fall, and they have what they call their specials. You're a teacher, right? So you know all about that. So the specials are sequential throughout the day, and so we would have the 1 day a week. It would be open as an option for the children to come to the Livewise program that day. So each lesson is very gospel-centered, so that even when you're teaching about, in Genesis or about Moses, it all points back to Jesus and what Jesus did. And so there's this whole thing of being focused on the gospel. And so the curriculum is from the Gospel Project, if you're familiar with that. That's something that's used quite a bit in this nation from different ministries. It's character focus, and this is something that every school wants. Every school wants better character in school. And the things that we are trying to do in the schools is exactly the same thing the schools want. The schools want better attendance, they want better grades, they want good behavior, they want good character, they want leadership. And that's what we want. And so every lesson has a character trait that it's focused on. So it might be kindness or obedience or respect or things like that every week. Local church driven, and so this is where you guys should be real excited, because the mission of Livewise is actually to reach unchurched children with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Yeah. The hope is not just to replicate Sunday school or youth group, and because those children are already plugged into your churches. And so what we want is to reach families and children that are not churched. And there's so much lack of Bible literacy. Plug and play is simply that when I said earlier that it seems like the ministry's been around for so long, it's really set up so that any school district anywhere can do this. And so it's very well done, and so it's being replicated all across the nation for the nation. When they're sending people, they're sending crews down into Texas and to Tennessee with this. I mentioned a Supreme Court ruling. I shouldn't say most. Over half of the states in this nation have a law on their books that basically support that Supreme Court ruling. Ohio is one of them. And so we're very thankful to be able to have that. And the last thing is excellence, a high degree of quality. So one of the ways that plays out is that we want to, when we hire our teachers, they actually become a Livewise employee, because volunteers are awesome and we thrive on volunteers, but we want our teachers to be committed to the program. And we train those teachers just like a teacher would be trained in the public schools. Okay, so we got a short video here to look at, so we can get that started.
The Supreme Court has spoken. Public school students can receive Bible education during school hours. I can't overstate the importance of that phrase in there. It's during school hours. Teach the Bible during school hours. During school hours. Bible education during school hours. I know it sounds crazy, but it's real. In 1952, the Supreme Court ruled that public school students can be released from school in the middle of the school day to receive Bible education as long as the program is off school property, privately funded, and they have parental permission. Not only is the concept possible, but it's spreading rapidly and students' lives are being changed.
I have seen my own children testify. They've seen their classmates changed.
Kids need to be affirmed, they need sports, but more than anything, they need to hear the gospel.
I was in one class recently where the teacher asked if anyone knew the names of Jesus' parents, and in a class of 20 public school students, not a single one knew that Joseph and Mary were the names of Jesus' parents, but all of those students are now being taught the Bible.
If I hadn't signed him up, I don't even know what our lives would look like. And like our story, it might not just be, 20 minutes in a classroom. It might lead somebody to a church and change a whole household.
There are people in our backyard who have never heard the name of Jesus.
I don't know about any other organizations that are doing anything like this.
We wouldn't be able to discuss these things with them if not for doing it right in the middle of the school day.
The law allows us to do it, so why not do
it? This is Livewise Westerville 5th grade.
If you want to begin teaching the Bible to your public school students.
So I want to talk a little bit just about what we're doing here in Highland. So where we've been. So we had a petition that you needed 50 people to sign it. We had well over that. We raised some funds, and we got the school approval. And progress to date, we have a leadership board in place that helps lead this. It's not just me, so we have a group of people that are help leading it. We have a facility. So the Bridge of Faith Church owns a building in Sparta. It used to be the Advent Church. So it's really only maybe a half a mile or less from the school. So we're going to be using that. They're letting us use that facility free of charge. We're very excited about that. We do have a bus. So the Highland School District is retiring 2 buses this year. One of them they're selling to Livewise at a very inexpensive cost. So you saw the picture in the video, how it's detailed, so we're going to have to get that detailed. So we can't just get a couple volunteers with a paintbrush to do that. It has to be done well, and it has to be looking right. So, and we're hiring teachers. So as we talked about, as Pastor Aaron said, we're very blessed to have him also. So next, where we're going. So this fall, we're going to start with K through 5. And then in January, we're going to add the middle school, 6 through 8. And then next fall, we're going to add the high school, 9 through 12. And the superintendent here is very excited. He wanted to start K through 12 this fall if we could, but because of all the logistics and they get high school, college credit and stuff like that in high school, it takes a little bit of time to put that together. So what's it going to take? So we need prayer. So this is obviously pray for your pastor in his endeavor with this, just the opportunity to touch these children on a daily basis that don't even know who Mary and Joseph is, and so it's exciting, but we need prayer. We're working on putting together a weekly prayer call. Volunteers. So in every class, we're going to have a teacher, but we want to have at least a couple volunteers in there to kind of help support and help with the crafts and the lesson and various things. So the bus would leave the church, go to the school, pick up the children, have a sign-up sheet to make sure everyone that got on and that each one was approved by the parent to get on, take them to the class. We'll have about 35 minutes in the classroom instruction, and then the teacher gets back on the bus with maybe a volunteer to take them back. And we even have the opportunity, sometimes the teachers will even teach on the bus on the way to help them remember their Bible verse and things like that. And then financial partners also. And like I said, this is being done in other school districts in this county, so we want to encourage you to support where your heart is and where you live. So student sponsorship. So we know public schools are very expensive. I mean, it's like thousands of dollars to put one year a student through school. For Livewise, it takes $240 a year to do a Livewise program for a student. So for $20 a month, you can sponsor one student for the whole year. And you can go on there. So we're also looking for one-time gifts, but we're also looking for ongoing, because this program is going to continue. And we are operating on as few funds as we can to make sure that we're being good stewards. So, and we're not asking that, God's not asking you to feed 5,000. He's asking you to have your 5 loaves and 2 fishes, and he can do that. Amen. So we know that, we look around, this is a big endeavor. It's like, can this be done? Yes, it has been done. He's done it over and over again, and he'll do it again. So, all right, so you can go on there. The next one is just a pledge card. There'll be some out there if you're interested. So what we really want to encourage you to do is go to livewise.org. I have some things out here on the table in the lobby. So you can write a check. You can write a check to Livewise. I don't know if you guys are doing it centrally here, however you want to do it. So either way, so if you go online to livewise.org, you can go and specify the school district that you want to give to. So, if you are writing a check, if you guys are writing a check directly to Livewise, you would just put Livewise Academy, and then you just put the name of the school district in the memo. Or if you're giving money to the church that's going to pass it on to, that's obviously great too. So finally, last one, thank you. My wife Sherry and I will be in the lobby afterwards if you have any questions. So we have, if you're interested in volunteering or enrolling your child or grandchild, that can all be done online. However, we do have some forms out here also. You're welcome to take those with you. And you could also sign up to be on our mailing list. So we very much appreciate it. We're going to be putting out a regular newsletter too, that you'll see that. So it's a great privilege to be here with all of you. Just thank you for your involvement and supporting your pastor in this. And we look forward to talking to you later today. All right, thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.